That's being called inadmissible. You're not admissible, even if you're here physically. It's not a question of admission itself only. It's not physical admission. It's illegal admission. Now, Obama's executive order as to immigration will allow over a number of parents of United States citizens who are here, who have been here for about 5 years, to get a temporary status. Do understand that this executive order does not give you a permanent status in the United States. You will not have a green card resulting from this. You will have a temporary status, but this status will allow you to travel. You will be able to travel to go back home as you please. You'll be able to do to have work permit. You'll be able to work here in the United States. You will be able to do many things in the United States. And you won't have to fear the police every time you see them, thinking that they're going to arrest you. Well, of course, it's very important and noteworthy to also state that with this executive order, there will be a new set of priorities as to enforcement of laws. There was before in the past a program called the Community Security Program, which in fact meant that every time you were arrested by a police officer, whether it be for a broken tail light or what have you, they had to call DHS, and DHS in turn would come and pick you up. If you didn't have legal status, then they would put you in removal proceedings. They'd send you before a judge or anything of the sort to make sure to try to start to get you to leave the United States. Now, with this executive order, this will no longer be the situation. They have a new set. They have a new program, which is the high profile category, under which only immigrants who have serious criminal offenses would actually they would only, local authorities will only contact for immigrants who have major criminal offenses, and DHS in turn, even if they were called, would only come to pick up those people. Let's say if you just have a broken taillight, you've been here for a number of years, and you were arrested by local authorities, and they decided, the local police says, I'm calling immigration on you because I don't think you're here lawfully. Well, DHS would simply not come. They would simply not show up because you would not be considered a high priority. So under this program, this actually puts you in a better situation. Also, the great beneficiaries of this program are the children who came here when they were, very young. You know about the DACA program, which is it's a deferred childhood entrance for children who came here when they were under 15 and who had been here from June 2007 until until the time they filed, and who were under 31 years old at the time of filing. Now, with the new executive order by President Obama, they kind of relaxed the DACA program a little bit, where DACA used to be afforded for a period of 2 years. Now it is covered for a period of 3 years, meaning that you'll have legal status not for 2 years under former DACA, but now for 3 years for these children. And also, there's no need for you to have been here from June 2007, but now the new date is January 2010. So this, in fact, includes a great number of young people who are here in the United States and who are not covered under this program. There are also many great things to say about the executive order. It also, for high-skilled workers, the issue of portability is in fact resolved, where portability refers to you having certain credentials, and you, for instance, you come on an H-1B and you have an employer and now decides to go to another employer. Usually what you have to do, which we do in my office as well for employers, you have to reapply. You don't apply. It's in a way you're still within the cap, but you have to reapply to get the second employer approved. With the executive order, well, the portability issues allow you to move from one employer to the other one without having to reapply. So it's quite good. And it's also very good for investors. Investors now, if you can invest, there are categories for investors. People who have lots of money and want to invest the money in the United States, you can actually get a green card. If you invest $1 million, you have a number of work, etc. Now, you don't need to have this million yourself, but if you can have anybody who can facilitate these funds, then you can actually right now as well with the executive order, you may be able to get your green card. So there are many benefits to this program, to the executive order, and the many good things. So, but the primary beneficiary of the program will be the parents of United States citizen children. By children, I mean people who are, for immigration law, the age is 21. Okay, but you are an adult at the age of 18. But people who have children under 21. People who have been here for 5 years, children of American citizens, then you may benefit. This resembles quite a bit, I must say, to the anchor baby phenomenon of the 1970s. Remember, during the 1970s, people would come to the United States and have kids, because once they had kids, they were automatically eligible to get their green card. So a lot of people had kids in the 70s just to get a green card. But it does resemble this in many ways, but it is not the same, because as I stated before, you will not have lawful permanent residence as a result of this executive order. You will be allowed to work, to live, to work, to stay, to travel, and many other things, but you will not have a lawful permanent status. I also greatly encourage people who have TPS. I know, for instance, you have a great number of Haitians right now who have TPS. A great number of people from Salvador have TPS. There are people from Mali have TPS. So those who have TPS, TPS generally is granted for 36 months. But in recent years, I've kind of seen that they've been granting TPS for 18 months, renewable, of course. And TPS means temporary protected status. Understand, it's temporary. It is not a permanent status. Don't get too comfortable in your TPS situation. With this executive program, you can actually I certainly encourage you, if you meet the criteria of TPS and you wanna switch over to this new category with the Obama executive program, I encourage you, because it's for 36 months. And immigration, they love to take your money. USCIS loves to take your money. DHS loves to take your money. If you're paying it, they won't reimburse it. So if you have to pay it every 18 months, if you can do it every 3 years instead, then it's much better, I believe. That's my own perspective on things. So, the Obama executive order. An executive order, you know what it is now, right? It's a set of directives, an act created by the president. It's my producers are telling me I'm done, so I have to go. But it's a set of directives created by the president to set about a goal, an objective, where the law is silent. These orders have full force of law without having permanence of law, and they can in fact be set aside by a number of ways. And one of the most, before I go, I have to say that the bad thing, because I've said a lot of good things about the executive order, the one bad thing that exists with this is that once you give your information, this information stays in a database, and if ever DHS or USCIS or what have you, or immigration court decides that they want to remove you, or that the next president comes along and say, I don't like immigrants so much, and I want to do something to get them out of here or something. Well, they do have your information, and they can use that information for the purpose of removing you. So there are good sides to it, but that's probably the gotcha kind of thing with the executive order. Once you come out, you come out. That's what it is. You can't come out and go back. Well, you actually could, but it's quite more difficult, because when you have the prints and have everything, it's a little more difficult. But I strongly encourage all of you who have listened to this today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us at 305-650-9884, 305-650-9884, or 718-413-2412 for those who are in